Yo, so we're back, what I'm saying, laptop video. We tried it with a phone, weren't really feeling it. Back to the laptop, it's just a bit easier, innit? It's just a bit fucking easier. So yeah, the topic for today is image, the importance of image. Now, I'm not gonna lie to you, image is the most important thing in terms of your self-esteem because image is literally how do you see yourself. I remember when I was in high school, yeah, the image I had for myself back then and the image I have for myself back now were completely different in it. Completely different. I had so many limiting beliefs I had in myself just in high school, bro. Just in high school. Imagine I was going around. Obviously back then, you get me. I had the low cut, no dreadlocks, no nothing. You get me. Had a low cut. Um, didn't take care of my skin. I was not properly groomed whatsoever, and my self image was flipping horrible, bro. Like horrible. I remember I literally there was a point, yeah. Like I was just like, rah, bro. If man can just get a girl, yeah. Like if man can actually just get like a girl, like a good looking girl, bro. Man, I would have been so gassed, bro. I would have been gassed. I would have been like, bro, you get me? If man could pattern a lane thing, you get me, bro. I remember thinking back then, like, I'd see certain like lane things, and in my mind, obviously, I wouldn't say it because I was even back then as a guy, I had an ego, but in my mind, I thought, bro, there's no way I could get a girl that pretty. Cut to 2024. Not only have I had girls as pretty as what past me thought I couldn't achieve, I got that's just the standard now. And I'm not even saying that to be egotistical in it. Like I really am not trying to toot my own horn. I'm really just stating a fact. The level of attractiveness that I thought I couldn't get in a partner back then is literally just it's like it doesn't even phase me now. Now what phases me is okay, is this person a good person? You get me? But the limiting beliefs that past me had was crazy. It was crazy, and it wasn't just to girls in it. It was to a lot of things, and a part of that, a big part of that, is image. So let's talk about image. So like I brought up before, I didn't groom myself. I didn't take care of myself. I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes I wasn't brushing all the time. You get me? I gotta be honest. I gotta keep it 100% real. You get me? I gotta keep it real. You get me? Keep it so real. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, man. It was my image was not on point, but here's how I managed to kind of like cut through, and you get me, change that. And here's the first lesson: take care of your physical appearance. Look your best every single day. Your clothes, make sure they are clean, make sure they are presentable. If you have an ironing board, iron all your clothes. Only keep clothes that you think look good. There's no such thing as a, oh, this is just my lazy, lazy fit. Even your lazy quote unquote fit, you need to be comfortable enough that if you're seen outside with it, you're calm. Obviously, you can have PJs and that. I'm not saying to a crazy level, but I'm saying always try your best to look presentable, because I know as men, especially when we go through things, right, when life gets hard, the first thing that gets abandoned is our grooming, taking care of ourselves, prioritizing the way we look, and that's wrong. We need to, as men, always be on point with our grooming and the way we take care of ourselves. Things like going to the gym, right? Even my physique, if past me was to see the physique I've achieved now, he would be like, bro, he would literally look at me like I'm a completely different person. And it's because I am. I've changed the way I look. I grew myself better. People are just going to say, oh, you just had a glow up. To a certain level, maybe. But I grew myself now. I have a skincare routine. You know, I have new hair that, even though it's a bit messy, I do take care of it. I do take care of it. For those who know about dreads, the oiling and things like that, it's supposed to look like this. It's in the budding stage. It's not messy. But in terms of my dreads, I do take care of my hair, take care of my skin, groom, shave the beard, all of that. Try and look presentable, because the way that you see yourself in a mirror and you knowing you look good is so important. You look good, you feel good is a real thing. It is a real thing. Very real thing. When you look good, you do feel good. It has nothing, and I mean nothing, to do with other people validating you. It's about, do you validate yourself? And let's be real, every guy knows what looking like an attractive guy looks like. Like, no homo, because obviously, guys, we got this ego, we can't admit it. We all know when we walk, a nigga walk past us and they look good. Pause. You get me? Pause. I'm not trying to be on no Diddy type of wave, but like, we all know when a guy walks past us and we can objectively, not saying we're on no, you know what I'm saying, we can objectively say that's a good looking guy. So we know when we take care of ourselves, when we look like a good looking guy and when we look like a bum. So it's important to always make sure that you look good every single day. Whether you're going to meet a 10 out of 10 babe, or you're just chilling with a man them, or you're going to flipping go get some milk from the shop, you get me? Or whatever you're doing, always look good, because it's not necessarily about the validation you seek from others, it's about the validation that you seek from yourself from always looking presentable. The second part of image is how we see ourselves. Now, this one is more deep, right? Because the first one can simply be changed by taking care of yourself. This one is changed by analyzing why we believe what we believe. And this is tricky, and I can split this into two parts. Now, some of our beliefs that we believe in ourselves are purely from other people's perception of us that gets put onto us because of their insecurities or whatever. So they feel some type of way about themselves and they just put that shit onto us. And then other times, it's necessarily because our actions are not congruent with something positive. Our actions actually match a negative perception we have of us. So those are two instances, and I'll teach you how to deal with both. In the first one, somebody has a negative perception of you. Let's say somebody says, I don't think you're creative, right? That's a very subjective thing. And it sticks with us for time. Well, what we can do is we can analyze ourselves and we can be like, yo, I don't think I'm creative. Where does this stems from? It stems from people saying I'm not creative, I should go into maybe more science, more math-based stuff. You know, it stems from that. Is this something I actually agree with? You really need to analyze everything you believe about yourself. Is this something that I really believe in? And if you genuinely believe, no, I am a creative person, like you draw, you're like, you know what, this may not be the best, but I do believe I have creativity. Boom. That's a limiting belief, just eliminated like that. There's so many beliefs that are just put on us from the outside world. Like, for example, I'm a young black man with dreads. If I go outside, a bunch of people will put me in the category of a gang member, a trapper, a guy who sells drugs, whatever. I consider myself an entrepreneur or entrepreneur minded, right? I have 2 YouTube channels that I consider a business. They're not profitable right now, but my goal is to eventually make them into profitable businesses. That is how I see myself. Their perception of me is a gang member. My perception of myself is an entrepreneur. I now have 2 options. Do I trust my perception of myself or their perception of myself? Because there's a lot of young black men who don't sell drugs, who aren't gang members, who don't do a lot of these things, that these stereotypes that they say every black person does. But because people's perceptions of what a young black man is, they now feel pressured, and it now becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, towards they become the very stereotype that they weren't even to begin with. This is why it's so important to know yourself. People will put false narratives on you every single day and assumptions of you. And it is up to you to understand yourself, look at your actions, and see if they are congruent with what they are saying or not. If the answer is no, you literally don't lose any sleep over it. Don't lose anything. You just keep it moving. Now, the second type is the instance where the self-limiting belief is also backed by your actions. Now, for example, right? Back in the day, I used to be very, very, very lazy, right? I would just have periods of complete laziness, no grooming myself, no taking care of myself. I wouldn't go to the gym, no positive habits whatsoever. And I developed this belief in my image where I thought I was a loser. Now, as harsh as it is, this was during COVID, right? I was waking up, I was binging YouTube, binging anime. I didn't do any of my assignments. I was addicted to the hub. You know what I'm saying? Addicted. I'm talking about 3, 4 crazy amounts of times a day. My sleeping schedule was completely out of the mess. And I let myself go completely image wise. Rarely was I shaven. Rarely did I look presentable. And I rationalized it by saying, oh, it's COVID. I'm going to be in the house. No one's going to see me. But during that period, I felt so low. My confidence was non-existent. My self-esteem was non-existent. And even though I was rationalizing my behavior by saying that, oh, it's COVID, it's fine, everyone's lazy, the way that I saw myself was a loser. And as harsh as it sounds, that in that instance, my rationalization of myself was a correct one. Because what do you call a person who lives like that, COVID or not? A loser. Now, the important thing to remember is you have the ability to change your image. And you do this by your actions. See, in this instance, unlike the instance where society will put perspectives on you that may be false, you will put perspectives on yourself based on your actions. And when you are judging yourself based off your actions, it will 100% be true. The beliefs you have of yourself will be true. This is why so many movements in society nowadays are just stupid. They have no merit. Because let's take something like the body positivity movement, for example. You are telling a group of people that are overweight, they are overweight. There's no 2 seconds about it. And because they're overweight, they, for the most part, they are unattractive, right? And you're saying that they are healthy, and you are saying that they are attractive, right? Now, these are two things that are clearly lies. Objectively, we can put our hands up and admit, on average, most people would prefer healthier bodies, including overweight people, right? But for some reason, the body positivity movement has come along now and basically said, no, don't listen to that self-talk that you give yourself based on your actions. Listen to us. We're going to tell you you're beautiful. We're going to ignore this mental thing that's saying that you're ugly. Listen to us because we're progressed past that and da. Now, my friends, that is called being delusional. It's called being delusional. So, when you analyze your own actions and it leads you to negative traits or negative things that you think about yourself, the problem is not with society now. The problem is now with you. And when the problem is with you, you ultimately have the ability to either change it or stay the same. You are not a victim of your circumstances. If you decide to yourself that you want to get better, if you decide that you want to improve, you can improve. So for example, right, using back to the COVID instance, I've gone from that person who had nothing going for them to I've been in a long-term relationship, right? Something that back then I would have been like, oh, yo, what? No, I've been in a long-term relationship, got out of one, but I've had one. I'm in way better shape than I was back then. A lot more physically attractive than I was back then. I'm about to enter my 3rd year of mechanical engineering, and in 2 years I would have completed a full engineering degree, something that a lot of people will not be able to say that they could do. I've started this YouTube channel where I've seen success here and there, and I'm committed to growing it, and I'm actually disciplined and I'm actually putting in the effort to actually try and grow all of these aspects of my life. Now, when we take these 5 things that I've just mentioned, right? These are all things that I've achieved through actions. The engineering degree I achieved through studying. This YouTube channel I achieved through making videos, uploading them, and just not giving up and staying consistent. The self-image in terms of attractiveness I've achieved through having a skincare routine, going to the gym. The gym one again, going to the gym. These were all built off of actions. And because I've used my actions to now achieve certain things in life, now my self-image is different. Instead of seeing myself as a loser, I still have negative things that I think about myself that are based in reality. Like, for example, I do think I can get a bit lazy. I will admit that 100% because I am in certain instances. However, if I was to say to myself, I have sexual discipline, I believe that, I can say that because I don't watch porn, and going to the club to talk to a girl to get her to sleep with her is not something I do anymore. So now that I say that, there's actions behind it. If I tell myself that I am an athlete, I've competed in Muay Thai, I've built a good physique, I'm healthy, I can run a very good distance in a short amount of time, that statement is not false because I have actions to show for it. So all of these positive attributes that I believe in myself, I didn't just get them because I woke up one day and I was like, la da 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 da, I want to be confident. No, I had to put actions. And with the ones that are still negative, like for example, laziness, the way I've handled this channel, it's just been lazy, I'm working on. But I'm not going to sit here and lie to myself and say, okay, I'm not lazy. No, I am lazy. And the reason why I will say that is because my actions have shown that. So when it comes to self-image, the biggest thing to notice in terms of this is that you need to be willing to change. People think change is scary. Why do people not change? Because people think, oh, that's just the way I am. How many people you ask them, oh, why do you do things like this? Why do you see things like this? Oh, that's just the way I am. This is a coping mechanism. It's a coping mechanism because the strength and the difficulty required to change is too great. So they just default to the way that, oh, this is how I was born, this is the way I am, I can't change this, because it allows them to basically be a victim of their circumstance, and it basically allows them to feel okay with having character flaws or things that are just inherently bad about them. It allows them to cope with it. It's a lot easier to say, this is how I am, versus, yeah, I'm just not willing to change that. Or I don't care. It's a lot easier to say the first one than the second one, but the second one is real. Because change is very difficult. Change is very, very difficult. And the process of change takes a long, long time. You can't just wake up one day and be successful. That's not how it works. Success is a very, very slow race of small changes, day by day by day by day by day, and then back steps, and then day by day by day, and then back steps, and then day by day by day, until you eventually reach your goal. It's not instantaneous, because like I said, the new you that you're working for, right, and the old you, they're in constant struggle, right? Because no matter how much you idealize this new version of you that you're working towards becoming, the old you still has deep habits that's instilled in you that will pull you. But you have to pick yourself up and keep edging towards this new person. So it takes a long time to change, and it's a difficult process to change. And we get caught up between the two identities of who we are, and it's easier to just say, you know what, fuck this shit, I don't want to do anything, I don't want to change, I want to stay the same. So there's a lot of people that don't change their whole life. They're born, they were raised one way, they believe one thing, they don't question their beliefs, and they die in those beliefs. And I'm not here to say that that's necessarily wrong, but I'm here to say, if you clicked on this video, I'm assuming you want to change your image. If you want to change your image, it sounds ridiculous, but you do need to be willing to change. You do need to be willing to go through the struggle of trying to change, because it's a struggle. But if you're willing to do it and work on these things, then your image will change. Now, what are the benefits of you changing your image? When you change your image, your self-esteem will be a lot better. You'll be a lot more confident because you'll actually like the person you are. You'll like the person you are. Back in, my high school days, especially during COVID, I didn't like who I was. Now I wake up, I like who I am. The respect that you get from people will also change, because when people are around people that like themselves, there's like an energy shift, like, oof, oof. You know what I'm saying? A lot of your male friends, in terms of like when they see you change and they becoming better, if they're really, really your friends, they'll actually respect you for it. And if they're not your friends and they're just secret haters, nothing was lost. Cut them off. Girls, obviously, you know, that's standard. Let's not even get into that, but you will attract more partners. So there is a lot of benefits to changing your image. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of benefits, but it's a lot of work. So yeah, that's how you change your image.